So I'm here with author David Rasmussen, and we're aboard the SS Moyie, which is the largest existing stern wheeler in the world. And David, I understand that this boat is very much like the boat that figures so prominently in the first part of your forthcoming novel, Legend of the Spirit Bear. Is that right?
That's right. The book in that, the name of the boat in that book was Jupiter. It was owned and captained by a man named John Lamar, and he was a great pilot on the upper Missouri River during the 1860s, and that was a treacherous piece of water to drive a boat like this, but it took a great deal of knowledge and skill and ability to read the river to drive the Jupiter up and back down the river. The wheel like this would steer it, but it also needed a great deal of river knowledge to be able to keep the boat going down the channels and to land at the various ports. The ports were often very crude and nothing more than a bank, a gravel bank. The main port and head of navigation was upriver port called Fort Benton, Montana Territory. It was an old fort. Originally it was started by trappers who brought up keel boats up the Missouri River. And the first steamboat didn't make it up until 1859. But it was a heavily traveled river during the gold rush of Montana, and much of the freight that eventually needed to go over the mountains into British Columbia came up the Missouri River and then on up by overland from Fort Benton on what was called the Hoop Up Trail that took the goods on over into British Columbia. The overland route at that time to British Columbia was almost impossible. So much of their freight and the people had to come either around the Horn or up the Missouri River and then by overland into British Columbia.